And I understand we have John Fredericks calling in. Of course, he is the owner of the great John Fredericks Media Network that carries this show on 20 stations across the country. So you know John has good taste, and he's also a big patriot who loves this country. John, I understand you're listening to the show and you want to chime in. I'm thrilled you called in.
You rock. It is an honor to be on the Rita Cosby Show. One of the smartest decisions we ever made was to pick you up 10 to midnight. It is one of the greatest shows in America. You're doing a fabulous job, and you've got so many listeners now across the country. And look, I do the morning show 6 to 10, so I'm getting up at 4 a.m. So there's just not a lot of times where I get to tune into you because I'm in bed.
And by the way, you have a great show yourself, my friend. I don't know how you juggle owning and doing the show. And you are just such a diehard and such a great broadcaster. So I'm thrilled that you're awake and tuning in. We are rocking tonight, right? Because boy, this is scary stuff. What we're dealing with right now.
It's you definitely have the best show on at night. I mean, I've heard them all. Yours is the best. Your callers are phenomenal. It's so much fun. And like I was thinking about going to bed because I just checked into my hotel now. Like, no, man, I got to stay up. I got to put Rita on, and then you just rock it. But here, I got an alternative scenario here. You want to hear it?
Yeah, love to hear it. Love to hear it, my friend.
Here's my alternative scenario. The Democrats are crumbling now. His base is crumbling around him. The worst thing he had today was Claiborne in South Carolina come out and say, "Well, I'd be for Kamala Harris," which is opening the door to he's on the way out. So here's what happens, okay? He resigns his position as nominee. I'm not going to run again. And he endorses Jill Biden, Lady Macbeth. He endorses Jill Biden to run for president and urges his pledged delegates to vote for her.
You know what's interesting?
What I think is going to happen.
I thought about that, John. You know when great minds think alike. You know when I thought about that? I thought about that, and I brought up Michelle Obama because that's obviously another big name out there. But the other day when Jill Biden got out there on the stage right after the debate, and she was like not Dr. Jill, she was like candidate Jill out there, you know? And she's been like out on the stump lately. And I don't know, you look at the history. It's happened before where candidates have passed it on to their wives, and not necessarily from the presidency, but from other positions. And there was something different about her. Like she seemed like she was ready to lead the way she was acting. It made me think that.
Well, the staff says she's in every meeting and has been for a very long time. So she's in the meeting. Everybody knows that it was her that wants Joe to run because she doesn't want to give up the power and the influence. Everyone knows that. So then you go to number 3, which is if he says, look, I'm not going to run for re-election. I mean, he controls the majority of the delegates on the first ballot. They're pledged to him. Many of the delegates that run like I did, because I'm a delegate to the RNC, I had to run my race. I was a Trump delegate. I had to raise money, as you know, get on the ballot, win, then get on the platform committee. But I'm committed to Trump because that's my candidate. So he's got all of these Biden delegates at the DNC. And if he were to say, look, I'm going to solve this, but I urge you to vote for Jill, and she just starts her campaign, then she becomes one of the entrants. Now, the other thing is, in an open convention, if there's here's the catch. If they do this in Chicago, if there's not a nominee on the first ballot and it goes to the second ballot, then the super delegates kick in, which represents 700 votes, which would be about 22% of the entire delegate vote, about 20%. The super delegates, which they waxed after the Clinton-Obama debacle in 2008, the DNC whacked that, but they kept them in just in case there was an open convention and a second ballot. Then they will pick the nominee because they'll have the most influence. And the super delegates are made up of elected Democrat officials and Democratic operatives. They put that in there just in case there was something that went down then they could control who their nominee is. So that scenario could play out as well.
It's really interesting. It's funny. Like I told you, I had that passing thought when I saw her. I'm like, wow, she's like acting like the candidate today. I mean, she's the one running the show. So what do you think, John Fredericks? You've been in politics a long time, my friend. You've talked to the president, President Trump, many a times. I have too. Where do you think, first of all, and we just have, unfortunately, like a minute or two left here, but do you think this is going to happen? Like, we'll know about this, that there's a passover, whether it's to Jill or someone else. Do you think we'll know in the next few days? And also, second of all, what do you think is going to happen with Trump with his VP? Who do you think he's going to pick?
I'll go backwards first. I've only got a minute here. I thought for a long time it was going to be Ben Carson. Now I'm not so sure. Rubio happens to be moving up very quickly. Obviously, J.D. Vance. I'm not sure what Vance brings to the ticket. Berquam brings nothing to the ticket. I don't see that. But Rubio, they might think, can help them with suburban soccer moms. I don't know. Also, the dark horse in this is Byron Donalds from Florida because of the massive increase in African-American voters they're getting. He would be a good choice. So I think it's going to be one of those. I just wouldn't count Ben Carson out just yet. I think Trump likes him. He's comfortable with him. He brings a lot to the ticket. He's a good balance. So if I had to bet right now, I would still bet it would be Ben, but we'll have to see Rubio, Donalds also moving up. As far as an announcement, Biden has to get through the next 7 days. He's got to get through the next 7 days. If he gets through the next 7 days, it becomes very difficult for him to then say, well, I'm out. The pressure is mounting right now, but you got the holiday coming up, so he doesn't have to do anything, right? So I think they're going to try to wait this out, but I think their plan B is if the pressure becomes so intense and the donors abandon him, which is the other problem. Well, also, there's a governor's meeting, a Democratic governor's meeting at the White House tomorrow.
Yep.
This was based on a conference call they had together, and they're like, there's a bunch of them running now that we're going to get beat or we're going to lose a state house. So they're going there tomorrow. He's got to quiet that down. If he can't get through that governor meeting in tomorrow, he's toast.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, but it's going to happen fast.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it's going to happen really fast. You know what you got to do, John? I'm going to let you go so you can go to sleep because you have an awesome show in the morning, but you got to promise you call back in again because our listeners all over the country and especially on your 20 awesome stations, which we're proud to have the Rita Cosby Show on. They're my favorite. I love you and they love you. And you are always so terrific. So you got to call in again and can't wait to talk with you soon and see you soon, too, my friend.
Hashtag Rita rocks. Oh. Rita, have a good night. Thanks for taking my call. You're the best.
Hashtag John Fredericks for president. We love you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. The great John Fredericks, media network owner and awesome host. Make sure you check out his show, too, as well. He is one of the great, great guys out there, and we're so thrilled that he called in.
Economists warn that massive tax hikes could devastate your IRA and 401k as the stock market braces for impact. I'm Larry Kudlow, and I urge you to fortify your savings with physical gold with my friends at Priority Gold. To learn how gold and silver can help diversify your savings, please call 1-800-405-GOLD or just visit PriorityGold.com to get a free gold information guide. That's 1-800-405-GOLD.